Hello people, this is Eric Cobra,
And Givinia.
and this is another Q&A video due to the fact that we finished the second saga in our Winx Club fanfic. And like last time, we have got some questions and we have some answers that will hopefully satisfy your curiosity. The first is rather easy, it's about the third one, which we are in the process of making, don't worry, first chapter should be up today, in fact. And it's about one of the major characters in it, Valtor. Now, see, there were two different dubs of this season, and in one he was Baltor, in the other he was Valtor, but it seems like Valtor was the original name from the Italian one, and there's a name that's been used in everything else official other than that dub, so that's what we'll be going with, Valtor.
The same reason why we are calling Aisha instead of Layla for 2 seasons.
Yeah, I think she was called Layla because of copyright reasons originally, wasn't she?
Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah, her original name is Aisha, and that's what we're going with. Right, the second question was regarding the climax of the second season, if you will, where in the show itself there was this, with Bloom going crazy and all that being brainwashed, we have the scene where Sky goes up to her and has this whole, I know you're in there speech. It's a bit cheesy set up in the show, but, one can understand the sentiment, but the thing is, it's these kind of speeches, in my opinion, works much better when it's the person themselves who's gone over the deep end, when they're angry or, depressed or something like that, or something where it's the person themselves. But in this, even in the show, it is Bloom being mind controlled by Darkar. It's not, just because Bloom has gone a bit nuts. She's literally being controlled and manipulated, and, there should be something more to it than just a feel-good speech to break that sort of thing, especially considering who created the spell.
Yeah, and even if we're going with that Sky could reach beyond the mind control and find the real Bloom inside, yada yada, it doesn't work because Darkar's right above her.
Yeah. That was an important part of the climax of all, getting Darkar distracted long enough that somebody else could pull something to get Bloom out of that state. But yeah, so that would be why. Now, the third question is a bit more general and also very interesting. First of all, it's about the fairies' powers, which are a bit used a bit differently than how it is in the show. And the reason for that is the idea of the fairies having different themes, which we have dubbed next in our story, is quite interesting. Tekna has the whole technology thing going for her, Flora has flowers, and Bloom has fire, and so on. Which is a bit of a shame that theme does not really continue. I mean, you have the three witch antagonists who also have a theme each, but many of the side characters who don't really seem to have that. In fact, we had to invent knacks for most of them and go from there. And the second thing is that many times in the show, the knack just translates to what color of energy ball they shoot. Tekna has power or technology, but that just means her shields are made of green numbers and she shoots green blasts of energy. Of course, it's sometimes used creatively in the show, like when Tekna helped take control of the owl when that was about to be crushed, and in some other cases. But the thing is, that actually there's less and less of that as the show goes on.
Yeah, most of the time it's just yell a spell name and throw a pretty light ball.
And those spell names never stayed consistent. I can't really remember like 2 times when the same spell's been used, but they all look the freaking same. So what we think was that it was underutilized, this aspect of their magic. So instead, we came up with a knack thing and then tied it closer to it. That, of course, gave the character some limitations at times, but which also helped make it more interesting rather than just, hey, I'm going to shoot my own very own flavored Kamehameha at you.
Yeah, and the fact that they always use spell name really reminds me of Dragon Ball Z, where they would just talk about their attacks before throwing them.
But at least Dragon Ball stayed consistent with the attacks. I mean, they would sometimes get new ones or invent new ones, but you could be certain that they would use the same techniques a couple of times at least.
Yeah.
So it felt more consistent, which I have to give Dragon Ball Z. That was actually good on their part. And sadly, the show doesn't do that, Winx Club that is, and we felt that really would help. And as we pointed out in the chapter with the Patcher Men, it's really freaking silly when people yell their attack names. It's just weird. And it works kind of better in visual mediums, to be honest. That can work. But in written medium, it just adds a lot of unnecessary text and just seems weird.
Yeah.
Now, the second question well, actually the fourth, but the second question from the same view is, why do the fairies not transform? Again, this transformations works better in a visual medium, in my opinion. But in Winx Club, it really felt like we were just, stalling most of the time. Not only that, but it's incredibly inconsistent. I mean, you got the main characters who need to transform, and in the first season, you also saw that other fairies transform. But that kind of dropped by the wayside as time goes on. And I think our guest has arrived. Could you go out and tell them to be quiet for a moment, and I'll keep talking about this?
Sure.
Sorry about that. I'll just keep talking. But the thing is, it's very inconsistent. Like, as I said, in the first season, the fairies of the school would also transform at times. So, but that kind of fell by the wayside. I mean, in the first season, Myrta would transform, but then they kind of dropped that, and it was only the main characters who transformed. So that just felt really unnecessary. And there's so many questions. Like, can you imagine that when Fargonda needs to get serious, she runs out and yells something, and then she's suddenly dressed in a glittering bikini while she throws energy balls everywhere?
Well, either that or she'd get an evening dress for the occasion.
Yeah. It's just weird to think about, and no one else does it, so it just seems all kinds of unnecessary. Not only that, but there's the different levels of transformations they get.
Which erase each other. He has complained a lot about that.
Yeah. See, first it's like, this is how fairies develop, but we never see anybody but the main characters really get these next stages at all. In fact, some of the requirements for these are really weird, and that raises a lot of questions. Furthermore, it's kind of like getting in. It's a problem that, just to mention the show we mentioned before, Dragon Ball Z also had with the power levels, where it just kept getting ridiculous. In this case, it's like the third season was supposed to have the ultimate transformation, but then the next season there's an even more ultimate one, and then another one, and now they're starting to have like 2 transformations per season.
Yep. Because they need a more ultimate transformations to get to the even more ultimate transformation.
And each of these transformations are mostly just used to solve whatever problem there's in this season. They are very unique on that problem. And furthermore, the transformations start to get very samey. That is, the girls look much alike. In the start, they have very unique transformations. I didn't always like them, but at least they look different. But now it's all frilly dresses and stuff. And often, the powers they gain from one transformation will not transfer to the next. For example, in the 4th season, will avoid spoilers here, so I'll keep this vague. They gain a set of powers in their transformation, which allows them to do different things. Come next season, they can't do that anymore. It's just dropped by the wayside. So all in all, the reasons the fairies don't transform is that, well, in the show itself, it just doesn't seem like it's used properly. It's kind of wasted.
Yeah, it seems like it's there to sell an extra set of toy and waste our time.
Yeah. And that'll be why. It's simply a waste of time. And giving everyone the power to fly was just...
Well, all the characters who don't transform and have wings can fly.
Yeah.
Even the boys can fly from time to time.
With their whole thingies, yeah. But giving everyone the ability to fly really raises a lot of questions about how some things could work. Like, how oftentimes don't they fall down something?
Rather often, actually.
Indeed. So, yeah, it just works better from a narrative standpoint. And in the show itself, it doesn't seem like they're interested in exploring what exactly this means. It's just a way to have some pre-transformation sequences to drag out time. And
an extra set of clothes to sell more toys.
Yeah. It's merchandising, but not done in a good way. So, yeah, that'll be why. But that will be the questions for this round. So, we hope you'll enjoy the next season. And, yeah, so good day to all of you. This has been Eric Cobra.
And Junia.
And this has been another Q&A video. So, yeah, see you all around.
See ya.
And now I just need to press